Welcome to the Cardano Sense Daily Show, DC Fun Daily Show, Catalyst. I'm still not sure what to call it. My name's Anthony, and today or during the show we go over 3 different proposals that's looking for funding in Catalyst. Right now we're working on Fund 4, so we're going to look at 3 proposals in Fund 4 today. I also have some information on voting and how things are changing with Catalyst. They're going to lengthen out a little bit, but I'll explain that a little bit later here in the show. So let's start with my stake pool. Sponsors this show, Sophie Stake Pool. If you like the show and you'd like to help me out, the best way to do it would be to delegate to my stake pool, where we're doing okay. We got 750,000 ADA, 94 lifetime blocks, 100% luck. So it's not a bad place to be. Alrighty, let's take a look at what we're doing today. So we're still in dApps and integrations. So like I said a couple shows back, I'm going to start doing these a week or planning the shows a week in advance. So starting on Monday, fingers crossed, the description will have all the shows that are coming up. So I can plan out a little bit better, and if people would like to watch, that'd be great. We are live today, so a little after 11 o'clock. I'm still trying to work down to that 10 a.m. slot. So hopefully we can get some people in here, and instead of me just talking about the projects, we can have a discussion. All right, let us get on to, sorry about that, the first project here of the day. This project this is an interesting project. I think all these projects are pretty much interesting. I feel like I say that all the time. Personal reputation system. Okay, the problem statement. Pandemic isolation create lack of trust among people. It means less opportunities, let me move this over, more poverty and inequality. How can we trust each other? The solution, their solution. App rewards good actions with tokens given by other creators. Tokens create a reputation, allowing to recognize and trust people based on their actions. Okay, experience. We're an expert team. We have 20 plus years of management, technology, business, blockchain devs. Okay, now we'll take a look at their website real quick. They don't have any of their experience here on the website, which I really like to see. But if you go digging, you could find it. I really think you should put it more kind of just up front so people can see it. Like in this website here, if you go to their, I'm not going to go through all this, but if you go to their LinkedIn website and then go to people and then click on some of the people, you can see their experience, but you really shouldn't have to dig that far to see experience. I think, you want people to vote for you. Most people aren't going to go through that unless they're really, really interested in the project. That's just kind of my 2 cents on that. Let's before we talk about the project, let's just go down and look at what they're asking for. They're asking for $40,000. They don't really break it down. We like to see that kind of broken down. Funding. They just say basically legal fees. It would cover. Assume that's replace part-time job, cloud infrastructure, artwork, legal fee, marketing efforts, and unknowns. So you have a much better chance of getting funded if you kind of break down what you're using this for. It's just not a pot of $40,000 where you can just kind of grab when you need it. You really want to break down what you're going to use it for. And look, if you've got experience like you say you do, 20 years actually, I'm sorry, I thought they had different experience. But either way, if you have that much dev experience, you should still be able to break down expenses more than you have. Okay, let's just talk about this project. A reputation. Oh, what happened? Sorry about that. I clicked on the wrong project. Wow. Okay. Let's go back down here. They're looking for $58,000. They have nothing here about what they're going to use it for. Wow. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to click on the wrong project. So obviously they need more information. They have nothing here. But let's talk about this real quick. We're already getting into overtime here. I think this is a pretty good idea, right? Because essentially what they're doing is they're saying, look, if someone does a good deed, this is a way to show, hey, look, give someone some kudos, hey, good job. And I thought, hey, this is an interesting idea, right? But then I went down to the comments, because they say in here, go look at the comments, because there's not that much information here. And people are ripping them apart, saying they're like China. You know, I just didn't get that by reading this. You know, China, they want to do, it's like a credit system, and it's good and bad, but this is just good. I don't know. I kind of think it's an interesting project, to be honest with you. But you know, I did read through all the comments on this project. So I kind of like the idea, but they really need more information here. They need, they don't have, like I said, if you go to their website, you can see kind of their experience. So that's in there if you dig around, but they got to talk about more about what they're using the money for sure. Okay, sorry about that. That wasn't the smoothest look at a proposal I've ever done. So let's move on to the next proposal today. All right, next proposal called Bequeath, Inheritance Tracking. This is cool too. Like, I tend to like most of these proposals. It's just whether are they written correctly or not is usually my issue. Okay, problem statement. Assignment of tracking, claiming distribution of personal property after death. Description of solution. Living wills have been around for centuries. We need to move them to a blockchain with NFTs, added benefits of real life time data availability. I like this idea. I think this is a great idea. I think blockchain is another industry or situation that blockchain is made for. Inheritance, you could do a will and a smart contract. Everything you own could be converted to NFTs. You could, you know, it doesn't have to, the contract doesn't have to be at a law office, or sometimes people die and you can't even find it. You don't know if they had a will. You got to go through all their stuff. I think this is a good idea. This is a great idea. Experience, 20 years full stack development experience. I'm also an entrepreneur that would love to leave something useful behind. So no, this is another one. We have to go to his LinkedIn to kind of see his experience here. So again, I wish you would have linked to something you built. But if I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but it's really interesting. Well, he started thinking about doing this on Ethereum or DOT or Stella. Then he saw Cardano and he decided to switch over here. He has an idea for different tokens: executor token, a codicil token, a trigger, a hashkey token. So these all kind of work with the Bequeath token. He kind of explains it a little down here. But I think this is a great idea. You should definitely read through this if you have some time. This would make a really painful part of the life experience a little bit easier. You know, depending on the laws of certain states, you still have to go to court to deal with this stuff. But if this was legal and agreed on with the, you know, with all the parties, this would make it so much simpler to do. Things would just get distributed to people when you passed away. Obviously, that would have to be verified. But I do like this idea. He's looking for $40,000, and like I said before about this project, I thought I was talking about the other project. But you really need to break down what you're doing with the money. You're just kind of saying, "Give me money, and I'll make this happen." I really like this idea. I hope this works out. And if you don't get funded, I hope we bring this back in another fund to continue working on this idea. This is a really good idea. I would urge people to come read through this. It's really well thought out and well written proposal. Okay, let's move on to the unfortunate proposal of the day. The unfortunate proposal of the day comes to us from, drumroll, Universal News Subscription. And as most of these proposals are, even the unfortunate proposals, this is not a terrible idea. Problem statement. News organizations rely heavily on ads that reward clicks, which result in poor quality content. The problem, right? The solution to the problem: introduce a DApp with associated tokens, right? Users purchase a token, they get ad-free access to participating news sites. DApps pay sites accordingly. So essentially, I guess I could read this whole thing. It's kind of short, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll explain kind of what's going on here. So essentially, you have different news sites that kind of subscribe to this service. And then as a consumer, you would purchase tokens, would give you access to the news sites. The news that you like or you think is fair, or however you want to rate it, you can rate them, and I guess they get more of a bigger percentage. Users are incentivized to grade articles they read by the contract, prolonging their tokens of validity. Tokens are then distributed to participating news sites according to the grades they receive and the size of their audience. So that's another thing. If they're incentivized to grade the articles, because then their tokens last longer, essentially, what I'm thinking that means is they have access to the news sites for a longer period of time. This is trying to solve the problem of news articles that are just looking for clicks. So they have these crazy statements, so that people will click on them. Half the time, it has nothing to do with the statements, but the statement vaguely describe what's going on, and really, it's had a kind of a bad effect on society. You know, some of these statements are articles, like news articles. The head of the article is some of them are kind of disturbing. You know, and just by the station or where the news is coming from, you can end the article headline. You can tell exactly what the article is going to be about. It's really terrible, especially cable news. You just know what they're going to be talking about depending on the cable news channel. It's really bad, and it really does come down to clicks and money, and that's how news is getting paid now. So I think this is the beginning of a good idea, but again, it's the unfortunate proposal of the day because it's just an idea, and they're asking for $50,000. For what? The initial funding will be responsible for defining the rules of compensation and grading, and responsible for engaging with potential news sites. On the long term, when a stable community has developed, it should be granted more ability to self-govern. I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but how does $500 or $50,000 fit into that little paragraph there? You know, you got to kind of explain more of what you're doing, and you got to break it down. So the unfortunate proposal of the day, the universal news subscription. All right, let's talk a little about what's going on in the community today. So I've got some information for you today. These are stills, stills, I guess you would call them, from the last Catalyst talk or the weekly town hall on Wednesday. So the tentative date for governance is the 26th of this month. So they've done the pre-dry run, the dry run. They have 2 more to go. If these go well, voting or registration for voting will start on the 26th. But that's not the big news. The big news, and I have tons of questions about this, is that this is changing. So now instead of projects getting funded every 6 weeks, they're going to get funded every 12 weeks. So right now what we're doing, and it is kind of hectic, we're working on one project, the governance, and ready to vote on one project, while the next fund, which is Fund 5, is going through the process kind of at the same time, but at different instances. This means right over here, innovation and governance. What they're going to do instead of doing that, so instead of funding a project every 6 weeks, they're going to start funding projects every 12 weeks, right? So the first question right off the bat is the amount of money for the funding going to double to keep in accordance of how much they want to spend per year? Or are we going to go, from funding like 100 million to 50 million because it's taking twice as long to fund projects? I don't think taking a longer time to fund projects is that big a deal. It's, it'll make things a little bit easier for people just coming in so they kind of know what's going on. It's going to mess with my show a little bit because I was not actually doing segments on projects until they were kind of set in stone where they couldn't change. I wanted to start doing that so that I didn't have to go back and look at projects. But now I'm gonna have to change that a little bit because we're gonna have voting. As soon as voting's over and the project is funded, we're gonna start from the beginning for a new proposal. So the first 3 or 4 weeks, the proposals can be changed up. So, and I hate to kind of look at these proposals while they're being changed because, they can still be changed, right? So if something's not in there, it doesn't mean it's not going to be in there in the final product. So anyway, that's what's going on with the whole Catalyst program. Once I figure out what I'm doing, I will let everybody know. So that's it for community chatter. So let us, I gotta turn that off. Let us go to the ending here. I will see everyone tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. I'll probably still do a show Saturday because I didn't do one on Friday, and I want to get 5 out a week. So I will see everyone tomorrow if you're here. Bye bye. Have a great day.